this episode of the Excalibur podcast, hosted by me, Kyle Brooks, where we have real people, real stories, and real progress. Today, we have a phenomenal guest, Jorge Ferrer. He is a CEO, an entrepreneur, and a leadership mentor, and he's been doing this for over 2 decades. Welcome, sir. How are you doing today?
Kyle, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here in your podcast. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Phenomenal to have you here. Exceptionally excited to delve into your story because we both went through the Man of War Crucible and came out the other side. And I know that from your perspective, you've had a lot of challenges in your life and you've overcome that. So I want to delve into where you started and then go into a little bit more of your story from that perspective, sir.
Sure thing. Well, there was upon a time. No, just joking around. I started working since I was very young. I was like 13 years old when I started working in tourism.
Mhm.
I live in Cancun, Mexico, paradise on earth.
Beautiful.
Uh, but I don't come from a rich family, right? So I have to work since I was very young. I have to create my own opportunities. Um, and it has its toll, to when you are so young working in a touristic area, you start experiencing things that are way beyond your mature moment, right?
Mhm.
So I have to grow up and mature real fast, open
Yes.
my eyes to the reality of the world, and that give me an edge, give me an edge compared with many of my the
Yes.
people of my own age.
Yeah.
I start seeing things and opportunities, and I realized very soon that I was very good in selling.
Mm.
Um, I was very good attending people, serving people. And when you work in tourism, you know that you have time to check in, but there is no time for checkout. There is no holidays. You might be in the hotel 1 or 2 days in a row, maybe 3 days in a row. Um, you are going to work on December 25th, January 1st. When people is partying, you are working. So it's fun,
Yeah.
it's challenging,
Mhm.
but it's hard. And at some point, I realized that I was not meant to be somebody's employee. I realized very young that I needed to own my own company because I wanted to do things differently. I wanted to treat the people who work for me very different that the way I was treated. And I always was uh, a person who liked to challenge the status quo,
Mhm.
more my challenging myself. I always um, I always try to challenge me to
Mhm.
whatever somebody said that I cannot do it.
Okay.
That's the thing I was going to do. For example, I play American football. I know you guys call it just football,
Yeah.
but here is American football because football here is soccer,
Soccer. Yes, sir.
and everybody in Mexico plays soccer. So that was not hard. American football was a challenge.
Yes.
More so when you are my size, right? Maybe with your size it will be easier, but with my size it's kind of hard. So I play it. I love it. I was good on it. I even had the chance to go to play in the States,
Wow.
in Miami. Once it was a great experience. Um, and then I started challenging myself to different things.
Mm.
Um, I I founded my first company when I was around 20 years old. It was an import company,
Yep.
and we started importing many things from many places. Cancun at the time didn't have many stores. Everything comes from outside,
Right.
either from the rest of the country or from other countries.
Okay.
So it was a great moment to be in that business. I have a huge success. We open offices in Miami, Monterrey, Mexico City, Shanghai,
Wow.
yeah, we Dominican Republic. We grew big and strong. But I was once I was young and stupid.
Okay.
With the years, I'm not young anymore. But but
You still seem so young, my brother.
sorry.
I say you still seem very young, my man. You look young.
I look young. I can assure you, I'm still stupid, but not that young anymore. Um, but since I was young and stupid, I was very immature of many things, and I was making a lot of money
Yep.
as a company man, and didn't have the knowledge, the financial knowledge. I didn't have the corporate experience, nor the maturity to be that person, right? So I started taking bad decisions
Hmm.
personally and financially and professionally. And when the 2008 crisis hit the fan for everybody,
Yeah.
my business was not ready. I was full of ubris. I was with the head everything else except where it should be. And of course, I went bankruptcy. That
Okay.
was my first bankruptcy experience.
Mm.
Um, Fair warning for you and for all for all the people who's hearing me. I promise you guys, I'm smarter in Spanish. I speak way better in Spanish, so bear with me.
You sound familiar, amazing, my brother. Don't worry, but you should hear me speak Afrikaans, or you should hear me speak Spanish. It's a lot worse. So, okay, I want to go back to
Yeah.
the first part of that montage there. You spoke about the fact that being in the tourism trade from a very young age gave you a step above the rest of the people that were around you because you were around people that were outside of your culture, right? So it's
Yes.
so important to see who you surround yourself with, you become like.
Oh yeah, that's very true, and that's a very powerful statement. Um, I always tell the people who I mentor, everybody wants to be an eagle. When I ask, you want to be an eagle or a rabbit? You want to be a wolf or a rabbit? You want to be a lion or a gazelle? Everybody choose the eagle. Everybody choose the wolf and the lion. Yeah, but if you are flying around
Mhm.
and you go to your right and left and you see pigeons around you,
Yep,
I have a bad news for you, brother. You are not an eagle.
you're a pigeon.
You need to rise,
Yeah.
right? So yes, when I was in the tourism, I was a kid, and all the C-level executive of the hotels were Argentinian, Spaniards, Mexicans, Americans, British.
Mhm.
The clients we received were from all over the world, and yes, it opened my mind. It start I start analyzing who I want to surround myself with. And I
Yes.
start choosing better because, of course, then I go back to my reality, to my small little world where I live. And the subjects, the topics, the ideas are the exact same things.
Yes.
And I go there and I see different perspectives, different ideas. Um, so I start being more selective of who I surround myself with.
And I think one of the most important things that you said there as well is not just who you surround yourself with, but the language changes. You see, when you're around people that are living paycheck to paycheck, they're focusing not on solving problems, but solving their own problems. But if they had to shift that mindset to solving other people's problems or solving bigger problems, they would be wealthy. Look at Jeff Bezos. He solved the problem of getting deliveries to people and getting products very quickly to them. And he's an exceptionally wealthy person. Look at Elon Musk. He solved the electrical vehicle crisis as well as us getting into space. So the bigger the problem that you focus on, the more wealthy you become.
And that's also very powerful, Kyle, because the the flip side, not the other side, but another way to look at it is yes, the bigger the problems you focus on is the wealthier you can get. But also you have 24 hours,
Yes,
you have an amount of energy and brain to which problem you want to focus, not only because of the end result,
yes,
because of what gives you inside the satisfaction, the transcendent a result of solving a crossword
Hmm.
or taking people to space,
Right,
you know.
right.
um, it's also very powerful to go back or to go up and look at your problems with perspective, and then you realize like this is not a problem. We learned this in the crucible, right? You arrive to the crucible with all these problems, and as soon you are in the crucible, you say, yeah, I don't care about that. I don't care about that anymore. I'm in the crucible. So it gives you perspective. You start to seeing things differently.
Yes, yes. And again, coming down to your analogy of the eagle, right? An eagle has a bird eye view of everything around them, and then they focus on the one objective that is most critical to them. They don't, when you're a pigeon view, you're looking at, oh, these guys are on my left or right. I'm competing against them for getting those seeds. No, no, no. An eagle is a solitary bird all the way up there, has a great vantage point on looking at everything, and then they focus on the one specific goal that they want for that day, and they go and get it.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Yes. When you go up and you get a higher perspective, it's easier to have a laser focus. And
Mhm.
people think is the other way around. They got there because they have the ability to laser focus, and it's not like that. You start getting the laser focus once you're going up. So going up is not for everybody, but it's almost for everybody. You just have to be willing to pay the price to go up. And by willing to pay the price, I'm not talking about screwing people over, renounce to your principles. The complete opposite is paying the price. It's being disciplined, it's being organized, is have the will to endure the process, which will always, if the result or the award is worthy, the
Mhm.
process is going to be painful.
Yes.
There's this saying, I know it in Spanish, but let me try to translate. Like, the way to heaven feels like hell.
Yes.
The way to hell feels like heaven.
Yes. 100% correct. 100% correct. And it's the sacrifices that make things worthwhile, in my opinion. For example, a person that wants to own a Rolex, they sacrifice their time, their effort, their sleep, everything to get that Rolex, right? And then they get
Yeah,
it, and now they've got everything that goes along with that. But how many people actually value their bodies, their heart? Their heart is not a replaceable thing. Your brain is not a replaceable thing. Is it valued? No, because you got it for free.
have think like this: your time. The
Yes.
only non recyclable or reusable um, resource is the time, and it's the time we waste. You were talking about the Rolex,
Yes.
and it was said around more than 2,000 years ago by Epicuro, a great Stoic, not Stoic, I'm sorry, a great philosopher. He said he will think something like, you are going to spend 51 weeks of the year to spend 1 week in Bahamas or to buy a
Mm,
Rolex. That's a
mm,
bad business.
right.
That's a stupid business. I'm not saying you cannot own a Rolex.
Right.
I'm saying you should value what is most important. You should learn how to value things, not accordingly to monetary price.
Right.
If you can afford a Rolex without sacrificing your heart, as you
Mhm.
say, your body, your family, your relationship, then fine, buy a Rolex.
Right.
But if you're gonna sacrifice your health or your marriage
Mhm.
to get a Rolex or a trip to Bahamas, that's plain stupid.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%, my brother. We should focus on, well, I've said this a million times. The 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 odds of us being born today and in this position are 400 trillion to 1. To put that into perspective, if it was seconds, it would equate to 126 million years. Okay, that's the
Wow.
vantage point of how special you are, meaning that out of nearly 8 billion people in the world, you are unique.
Yes.
And you have a message to deliver that only you can. So, why is it that we're trying to dress, act, and be like everybody else in the world? If we just had to embrace the uniqueness within us, we would be able to be leaders in our own community, but also to let the light shine in other people and help them to reach the next level. Like you said, it's not about pushing other people down to get up, but rather getting up
To
and
rise
lifting
yourself.
somebody else up as well with you.
Yeah, yeah. The true, my leadership firm, it's called High Impact Leadership,
Mhm.
and we believe that the only way you can be a high impact leader is the way you can extract and bring the best version of the people you are leading. If not, if you cannot extract the best version of the people you are leading, you are not truly leader. You might be a great boss, you
Right.
might be a great entrepreneur, you might be a great person, but you are not a leader. The leader always brings the best in people.
Yes.
That's that's the final cue for a great leader. Bring the best on people.
Yeah.
Because when you do bring the best in people, things are going to start happening.
Yeah.
Wealth is just a result of people doing their best
Mhm.
all the time, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes. And everybody, once you get wealthy, everybody else around you gets wealthy because of the fact that you're embracing and bringing that out with them. It's like Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, when he sold his first business, every single one of the people that were working with him became a millionaire.
I knew that.
So, so again, we touched a little bit on the beginning. You said you went bankrupt. How did you recover from that? Because that could defeat most people. So you were able to get yourself out of that and to become again a successful man. And for me, fail and failure is not permanent. To me, fail is an acronym for first attempt in learning.
Bingo. And you resume it perfectly because it doesn't matter how many times you fail in something. The only way you can get to succeed is by failing. You don't get to be Michael Jordan by not throwing thousands of times to the hoop, right? You don't get to be Michael Phelps by swimming Saturdays and Sundays, maybe. You need to try. So in order to become successful in business, you need to bankrupt a business. You
Right.
need to put a business and fail. Sometimes the bankruptcy will be like with not no turnaround.
Mhm.
Like you need to start all over another business because you were completely bankrupt.
Mhm.
And sometimes you're in a bankrupt and you just need to go through the storm and you will get out of it eventually.
Right.
But you need to have the will. Again, you need to pay the price of the process.
Mhm.
So how did I came out of this? Well, I would love to tell you that I'm a brave, smart, result-driven man,
Okay.
which I believe I am right now.
Yes, you are.
But I'm pretty sure I wasn't that person at that moment.
Okay.
And that's the interesting part because I didn't have a choice.
Hmm.
My choices were giving up and becoming a failure
Okay.
or go through the storm like the stoics show us like real resilience is not going through adversity, it's going through adversity with a peaceful, with ataraxia, with a peaceful mind. So I decided I was not going to to allow failure to mark the rest of my life, of my destiny.
Mhm.
I at that point I have around 40 people in my company depending on me to take the business out of bankruptcy. I had a family. I wasn't married nor have kids, but I do have brothers and parents, and there were many people that couldn't just like, okay, you failed, okay, we'll do something else, right?
Mhm.
So it wasn't more my virtues that I developed, with the years, it was more that it wasn't a choice for me. It wasn't an option. I
Right.
didn't have the option of, okay, I will go sit here and cry out and just be a failure. Like I couldn't. So I just need to keep going. Like Coach Rafa teaches,
Mhm.
forward is a mindset, dwelling in the past is a mind fuck. So
Right.
I decided that I needed to move forward.
Mm.
Um, One of the most less sexy concepts and terms, but most powerful concept and terms that I teach when I mentor people, tell yourself the truth. Everybody lies, like Dr. House says. Everybody lies.
Right.
Me, you, my wife, my kids, your kids, everybody lies. It's in the human nature. Sometimes you lie for good reasons. Sometimes you lie for bad reasons. Sometimes you lie to protect somebody you love. Sometimes you lie because you're selfish. But everybody lies.
Okay.
I'm not here to judge anybody for lying. I'm not an ethic professor, but knowing that everybody lies, you at least have to tell yourself the truth.
Right.
So when we went bankruptcy, I could blame the 208 crisis. I could blame the big United States corruption in corporations that bankrupt the world, and I was a victim. It wasn't the case. I was a bad CEO. I took very bad decisions. I was full of hubris and arrogance. I was young and stupid. And when the crisis came, I, I wasn't prepared. I didn't save money for crisis. I didn't have protocols to endure an adversity. And then I went bankruptcy.
Okay.
So, yeah, that huge world thing impact me. Yes, but the decisions were mine.
Right.
So I came out, I, I, I tell the truth to myself. I accept these failures of mine as a CEO and learn the lessons and start creating my companies to be built differently.
Mhm.
Right now, for example, my marketing agency, Octopus, is facing a cash flow problem because one of our biggest clients defraud us with more than 600,000 US dollars. And it was a huge blow to ourselves.
Mhm.
The company shake, but we didn't win bankruptcy. We are not even close to get bankruptcy. We have we have survived the problem, and this crisis also was a very difficult time for me. Also, I had to tell the truth to myself again, and I found out that again I failed as a CEO. So I'm restructuring the company to be stronger for the next. So every time a crisis came, I am a fan of Winston Churchill, who I believe is the high who say, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Great. Yes, sir.
Never let a good crisis go to waste. So they screw you over, fine.
Yeah.
Amor fati, as the Stoic says, accept destiny. Not only accept it, love it.
Mhm.
That crisis came to you for a reason, for
Mhm.
you to grow, for you to understand your weaknesses, your demons you have to fight, to wake up to something you didn't want to see because you were in comfort zone. So every crisis has to bring the best of yourself.
Yeah.
That's why the crises come. Crises come. So at that moment, again, I was not brave, resilient. I developed it on that crisis.
Yes. Yes. So there's something that I watched from Bruce Almighty, and it's Morgan Freeman. He's talking to one of the ladies in the movie, and he says, when you ask God for strength, does he give you strength or does
No,
he give you opportunities to become strong?
think that's the way. That's the way God acts and
Yes.
answers.
And that's what I was thinking about when you were talking about the crisis, right? From your first crisis, what did you do? You restructured your entire company. You made sure that it wouldn't, now you're going through something else, that it wouldn't happen again that way. So you learned, you built upon it. But what happens with lessons is that you pass the lesson, then another one comes with the same sort of lesson, but it
Yeah.
just levels up with you every single time. And that's the beauty of life.
And I will connect this with what you were saying about Bezos and Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Then your problems start to get in the same problem, start to be a bigger problem.
Yes.
So the questions start to be more powerful. Ergo, your answers start to be more powerful, and they take you to the next level and to the next level and to the next level. So your focus start to be in bigger problems
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
I,
how to build, how to grow.
I found that that analogy is amazing. You're putting things into perspective here because there was a study that they showed with how CEOs speak, and they said the most successful CEOs normally do three things when they speak. They use very clear language, so they don't have high jargon or any of those highfalutin terms. They make
Yep.
it very easy to understand. Secondly, they speak in the present tense. They don't say we will do this, they say we are doing this. So it brings you into the now. And then the third thing is that they involve you in on the problem or the solution. So they'll go, we are going to go take a we are taking this rocket into space and we are going to land it back with the team that we currently have. And that's exactly what Elon Musk did.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You as a CEO of your company, you have to apply as Jocko Willings teaches, extreme ownership.
Mm.
You need to have extreme ownership all the time. You are the leader. You need to lead, and we lead from the front as it is in our code. We
Yes.
lead from the front.
And
So
it's pass the credit and take the blame.
yes, every time, all the credit has passed, and you have to take the blame for all the mistakes of your people. That's the way you lead people, and you help them extract the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Knowing them, hearing them, pushing them, and helping them with your ideas to bring their best ideas. So if they succeed, is their success.
Mhm.
If they fail, you have to take the blame,
Yes.
because the blame will kill them, will screw with their self-esteem, and they will not try it again. And you need as a leader that they keep trying, because again, Michael Jordan didn't become Michael Jordan by not throwing hoops every single day. If he failed to throw the hoop and say, "Oh, this is not for me. I want to play football or soccer or whatever,"
Mhm.
well, he tried baseball, and we know this how that went.
Yes.
But he keep throwing hoops,
Yes.
and we know how that went.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay, my brother. So I would like you to leave our viewers with three tactics that they can use to overcome failure that you have used in your life.
Sure. Three tactics to overcome failure. The very first, I already said, always tell yourself the truth. Do not lie to yourself. You are not a victim. You are facing what you're facing for a reason. And if you tell the truth to yourself, it's gonna be easier to find the problem. It's gonna empower you to take decision, to be an action taker, and to get out faster and stronger. So the very first, always tell the truth to yourself. Second, you need to have we call internal core belief system. Uh, the first thing I work with my mentorees all the time is to create their system of beliefs. Everybody has beliefs, virtues, values. We all have them. The problem is we don't have a system. We
Mm.
just have them in the brain, and we decide every day with the motion of the day.
Mm.
If I'm happy, if I was talking with you about loyalty and something happens, the loyalty will come to my mind and will make me choose, act, and decide with loyalty in the mind.
Mm.
But if we were talking about being selfish, be successful, be aggressive, when the situation comes, that's the thing that's gonna be on my mind, and I will act, decide, and the motion of aggressiveness is gonna drive me through. it might be good, it might be bad, but the thing is you don't have a system. So the first thing I help my mentorees is to create their own value systems, their core belief system, so they can always choose and act accordingly the values they decided for each situation, you know? So the second is to have that, because it will help you, it will guide you, it will be your compass for deciding, and it's very important to do so. And third, something that was very helpful for me is to understand that I am not a victim and everything comes to an end, you know, like in the crucible. I don't know your experience. We have not talked about our crucible experience before, but mine was cruciated. I'm a small dude. I was the weakest of the group. I was the little Mexican amongst the big giants. Was the middle age. So they were like walking, and I was running just because of the side of the legs, the steps, right? So it was a very hard thing for me. What keeps me going was, this is going to end. Eventually, this is going to end. So I just need to keep forward. It's not going to be forever. So it's going to end. At some point of the day, it's going to end. And I will have my rest and I will start over again. So the same goes with the bankruptcy. The same goes with a cancer. The same goes with a divorce. It will end one way or another. It's going to be finished,
Right.
And you will start over again, except if you die. But if you die, it's over. It doesn't matter anymore. So those are the three things, the three tactics I will tell your people. And I want to give you a fourth bonus, which is more like a joke, but I use it like a real thing. Like, do not take life so serious, because you are not gonna end up alive anyway.
Yes.
So enjoy it.
Yes.
Enjoy your crisis. Enjoy the darkness. Enjoy the adversity. Learn from it. Be resilient. Warrior-minded. Toughen up. Man up. But enjoy the process. You are gonna go through anyway.
Exactly.
So enjoy it. Enjoy the process of growing.
So just to recap, it is tell yourself the truth.
Yes.
Have a belief system and act with
Yes.
that belief system. And
Yes.
the third escaped me.
Do not be a victim
Yes.
in the one side of the coin, and in the other side of the coin is know that you have the power to change things.
It's gonna end. Whatever you're
It's
going
gonna
through.
end.
And the last thing, life, I'm gonna try and rephrase it. Life is the only game that you don't get out of alive. So you might as well enjoy it.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, my brother. Where can our viewers find you so that they can link up for you if they're interested in doing some leadership training with you, mentoring with you, or just want to follow the amazing content that you deliver?
Thank you very much. Yeah, sure. They can find me in Instagram. I am Jorge Ferrer Castellanos. I will give it to you so you can post it. And Liderazgo de Alto Impacto. And we do have programs and mentorship in English for if anyone asks.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today, my brother. I really do appreciate it. Guys, you know where to find us. You can find us on Excalibur Coaching on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as well as Spotify, which you are probably listening to now. Remember, guys, where there is a human being, there is a human story. Have a fantastic day. Okay. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day.